What up, what up, what up, what up? It's your man, Wealth with Dale, aka Mr. Group Economics, Dale with the Beasley Real Estate Group. And today we're going to talk a little bit about real estate in DR, man. So if you're watching, I'm glad you stopped at this video. We'll be bringing more content about real estate in the U.S. and abroad, mainly in Dominican Republic, which is a market I'm heavily involved in. So if that type of thing interests you, learn how to build wealth internationally or in the U.S., learning how to acquire real estate and things like that, you've hit the right place. Hit that like button, hit subscribe, help the algorithm as we build this channel and we can bring you content. So let's get right into it. Someone that know me, some guys don't know me, maybe new to the channel, but I've been in the real estate industry a little over 10 years at this point. Detroit is a market I'm heavily invested in, as well as the DMV area. I'm a licensed realtor in those areas, as well as I do a lot of real estate in Dominican Republic. So welcome to the channel, and I'm going to show you how things work, how to help you understand it from an perspective coming from the U.S. and understanding how real estate may work abroad. So let's get right into it. Today we're going to talk a little bit about Dominican Republic. And first I want to kind of get in talking about realtors, right? That term is thrown around all over, and you'll hear people say I'm a realtor. You'll meet people in Dominican Republic say I'm a realtor. You'll see the realtor logo that you may be familiar with. However, that logo is it's actually meaningful. Being a real estate agent and being classified as a realtor are two different things. Realtors is an organization that's actually held by a certain standard of ethics and codes. You have to pay into it, and they kind of maintain and they keep a certain code of ethics that people who are truly realtors and part of that organization stand and live by. However, you will see the logo thrown around and the term thrown around interchangeably as if it's the same. So it's not, especially when you see it abroad. You don't see it as much in the U.S. because you can be sued, but you go to countries like Dominican Republic, you will see realtor, 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 and the logo, which is a trademark logo, thrown around. So I want you to know when you see it abroad, it means nothing. It does not have the same value as it does in the United States. So be cautious of that. And speaking of that, let's talk about realtors or real estate agents. In the U.S., it's a tedious process. There's schooling. There's a very, very challenging test where you must understand the laws and understand how to conduct business. However, abroad, like in Dominican Republic, there is no governing body for real estate agents. So there's no licensing, there's no insurance, there's none of those things. So you must be very cautious because that means anyone can sell real estate, right? You're somewhat protected in the United States because licensed agents are needed to sell real estate. They don't have that abroad. So you are meeting individuals who say, hey, I'm a realtor. They're going to use the term realtor or real estate agent. However, they may not possess the skills needed to transact the deal properly. And like I said, there's no board for oversight to ensure they're doing things properly and ethically. So you want to keep that in mind when you're looking at real estate abroad to make sure that people are doing things. You're dealing with someone who has experience and who is ethical. So typically I tell people only work with someone that you refer. If you meet the guy at the fruit stand that says I sell real estate, he or she may not be the best person for you, depending on who you've met. Now we're going to get into title companies as well, right? So in the U.S., you have title companies, and they protect the title, right? They make sure when you're purchasing some property or real estate that particular piece of property or real estate and the purchaser you're purchasing it from is the true owner, and there's no liens or anything against the property. Once you acquire, it's solely yours. And they actually insure the title and guarantee if there's a problem, we will rectify it as a company. They do not have title companies in the Dominican Republic, which means you have to be very cautious with the title. And that is one of the biggest problems with the real estate there. When you purchase a property, that title, is it protected? Are you buying from the true owners? And they do this through using attorneys, right? Attorneys transact the deals. However, a lot of the attorneys may not be as ethical themselves. So who can you trust, right? So you have to be very cautious with the real estate there. I advise people to only use attorneys who they may know someone who have used that's ethical, or use the big names, the big companies that have been around. And if you need some, you can reach out to me. I'll tell you some of the ones that I recommend. So use the big companies, the big corporations. The attorneys themselves also aren't held to, they don't have a bar, or they don't have the same set of credentials and ethics that we're used to in the U.S., where it positions us to trust them more because there is a governing body, oversight that can, take their license and things like that. So you have a lot of attorneys there that may not move ethically or do things how we're used to them. So you must be very cautious. A lot of people have lost a lot of money thinking they're buying real estate in Dominican Republic, and it is not truly. The title isn't clear, or there's some issues where you have it. One thing that happens is, the paperwork sometimes is just not tight, and the land there is all willed to the children automatically, whether you want it or not. So you may buy a piece of land from someone and think that that's that, but they have this piece of land, but it was willed maybe to 5 children, and you're trying to buy it from one of them. So those are the type of things you have to be cautious with. What I say is, don't be cheap. If you have an attorney that you like and you trust, pay a second attorney to check it as well. It's better to have 2 eyes to make sure that this transaction is legit before you lose your funds in a transaction or a title. And things are tied up in the courts there a very long time. It's not as simple as, hey, you found out you don't own this, give me back my $100,000. You're going to be fighting that a very long time. So you want to be cautious when you're looking at buying some of the real estate and things over there. It's exciting. It's a beautiful place. You found a nice property, got some mango trees in the yard, and you're excited. But you have to be cautious and look out for these things. So I'm trying to give a little bit of game on how to do it. Like I said, the attorneys itself, it's hit or miss with the attorneys to find a good attorney. You want to make sure you get someone that is legit, been in the game a while, and particularly you probably want a recommendation, right? If you don't have anyone to recommend, reach out to me, or use one of the big names, one of the big brands that's been around for many years, and that way you can get into someone trustworthy. Let's talk a little bit about mortgages there. A lot of people reach out to me to buy the real estate there, and they find out that in a lot of other countries, we have an advantage by putting down a very small percentage and the bank financing most, right? But however, there it does not work that way. To get finance for real estate, they often want a large amount down, and not 5 or 10%. We're talking 30, 40 to 50% down on that property. Okay, so if you're looking at a property that's 200 grand, it may cost you $100,000 to buy that property. So you want to keep that in mind when you're looking at real estate, to ask yourself, are you really ready financially to be able to acquire a piece of property overseas? Now, there's some what we call constructive financing and things like that. You can finesse the system. However, traditionally, you find a house, you like it, you want to buy it, you can't walk in the bank and give them 5% down and they finance the rest. That's not typical. So just dropping some quick jewels about DR and the real estate, man. I appreciate your time watching the channel. Like I say, hit that like button if you like the content, you're interested. Hit the like, subscribe so you'll know, hit that alert button so you know when new content's coming out. We're launching off. I'm gonna give you a lot of game about real estate this year, how to invest, how to build, and how to move overseas if you're interested in that thing. So it's your boy Wealth for Dale. Be well, be wealthy, the Beasley Real Estate Group. See you next video.